Hi, I'm Hannah from Love Learning Tutors. So maybe you've seen part 1 and part 2, so now this is part 3. Expert, super advanced mode. Let's do it. If you find this a little bit too tricky, please go back to video 1 and video 2 where I discuss having x as a denominator. So let's do this. So we want to get all our x's out of these situations. But as you can see, these two have more than one x in them. So how do I make x a subject? So rearranging equations you'll sometimes see as make x or h or whatever it might be the subject. So basically get it by itself at the front on this side, or yeah, it doesn't matter as long as it's by itself with equal to everything else that's there. So for step 1 here, as you can easily see, we have two x's. Now it's kind of, if we add this to the side, we can have another x on this side, and we've kind of got a situation where we have the x's on the same side, but they're tied in, they're multiplied by other things. So in this case b, and this one's multiplied by minus c. So the first step is we're going to take x out, we're going to factorize. So taking x out of the equation, so we end up with b minus c. And if you just quickly do a reverse, that's just basically b times x. And that's minus c times by x to make this. Now that we have this, this is much more organized. We like this, it's good. So this has a little times here, right? So as we discussed, there times. So to do rearranging equations and to remove things and take them to the other side, as some people call it, is we want to do the opposite. So as it's times right now, we want to divide both sides by b minus c. So dividing by b minus c. I'll leave it in the bracket just because it makes life a little bit easier, more organized right now. These two will cancel out, so then we have x is equal to d over b minus c. You can write the brackets here or not, it's absolutely fine, as long as that d is above all of them. Okay, cool. So that's our first one done. So that wasn't too painful, but I have a feeling the next one might be a little bit more complicated. So let's have a look. We have our x here. Okay. Well, it's not too bad actually. It's not as ugly as it looks. So we can't really do anything about this square root right now, but we can get rid of this 4. So this relationship is 4 times by root of x. So in order to get rid of this 4, this is a times by 4, we need to do the opposite. So we're dividing both sides by 4. So what that gives us is f over pi times by 4, but usually we write the number first. So 4 pi is equal to the root of x. Okay, so we're pretty much almost there. So to get x back from its normal to its normal self, at the moment it's a root. We just want pure normal x. Normal x sounds really bad, but yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to square both sides. So I'm just going to do that essentially. And what that does, we can actually leave all of this within the brackets right now. You don't need to organize it. It's absolutely valid to leave your answer like this. And then we can just write x, because root x times by root x, so by squaring it, it just makes x. So then we're done. We're done for this one. We're smashing it. We're going through it really, really quickly today. Okay, so the last one, number 3. So, well, as I mentioned in the second video, we don't tend to like having, not like, it just is, right? I don't know why people have emotions to all these things, but it's not so helpful to us having these x's at the bottom. So what I would recommend first step to do is to move this all up to the top. And the way that we're going to remove this divide of x minus p is we're going to times both sides by x minus p. So that gives us x minus p times by x minus p. So these two in essence cancel out. So we have y times by x minus p. there goes my whiteboard wiper. X plus P. Okay, right. So here we go. So it's already looking a little bit better. Now we want to get all the X bits on the same side. What I would probably say at this stage is it would be best to multiply out this bracket, because this X is kind of locked into this bracket. We can't access it until it's been released. If we divide again, we're just going to end up in exactly the same place, and that's not really solving anything. So multiplying out these brackets, so we get y x minus p equal to x plus p. Okay, so now we can start grouping out all the things that have x and bringing all those things to the same side. So let's bring it all over to this side, for example. So by doing that, we want to bring, so this is a plus. If there's no sign in front of something, it's just a plus. You can just assume, unless stated otherwise, like you might see a minus here, for example. But yeah. So to bring this over to this side, we're going to subtract x from both sides. So our next line becomes yx minus p minus x equals p. Now let's get rid of this p, because it's the only thing from stopping the side being kind of only bits with x in it. So this is a minus p, so to remove that we need to plus p to both sides. So then we have yx minus x equals, so these two cancelled out, p plus p makes 2p. Excellent. Okay, so in a similar way to what we did here, where we factorized, we had two parts that had x in them, but we wanted to get the x by itself. So in the same way here, we can take x out of the bracket, factorizing that. So what makes y x? So that's y times by x. What makes minus x? It's x times minus 1 is equal to 2p. Oh, I feel like this is a home run. This is the last bit. So there's a times here between this bracket and this x. So to remove this minus y minus x, what are we going to do? It's times now, so we're going to divide. So we're dividing both sides by, I'm just leaving it inside the bracket just for neatness right now. So what we end up is x is equal to, these two cancel out, make 1. We don't really worry about 1, so I'll just leave it like that. 2p over y minus 1. Yay! And I think that's pretty much as tricky as your rearrangements will get. I mean, this question involved quite a lot of different things. So there was part of a rearrangement, there was some factorization going on there. This requires some knowledge about, squaring numbers, roots and things. So as they do get more complicated, you will notice that it's not just making a subject, that it does involve some knowledge of your other areas in maths as well. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. I hope that all made sense. If you have questions that you don't know how to solve, please comment below and I'll help you solve them, or make a video to help you solve them. And yeah, please keep tuned. We'll have some more math tutorials soon. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!